Köszönöm szépen Joka de Ruyter elnökasszony előadását, és egy díszvendégünk lesz még ebben a körben, egyébként a rendezvénynek sok díszvendége van, és csak azért nem nyújtom előtte a szót, mert 50 fölött, 60 fölött, 70 fölött, 80 fölött és 90 fölött egyre fontosabbá válik, hogy olyan ütemesen érkezzünk, mint csecsemőkorunkban. Tehát akkor jöjjön az utolsó vendég ebben a körben, Elizabeth Sclater, a OWN, nem mondom azt, hogy Own Europe főtitkára, aki ülve mondja el szavait.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think for quickness, I'll sit here, and like you, I'm ready for my lunch, so it will be. And I knew I was going to be the last, so I only have a page. Again, I'm delighted here to be in Hungary once more and to be invited, and especially to help you celebrate International Women's Day, a very important day that we all across the world celebrate in memory of those women in the Garment Workers Union in New York who took to the streets in 1916 in order to have equal pay, amongst other things. We are delighted to have the organisation Women's Career Development 50+ as board members of the Older Women's Network Europe, for Andrea brings a number of things in one. She brings Andrea, which is very important, her personality and her energy. She brings experience in employment, which was something the network did not have. And because you are based in Hungary, you're an Hungarian, you bring us also Eastern European experiences, which broadens and gives our network so much more richness and development as well. So thank you for being part of the network. We're also meeting at a time when our colleagues across the world are meeting in New York for the Commission on the Status of Women. And as Andrea said, that was where we first met. And this is where the governments of the world, it is a government meeting, but of 180 odd or 192 governments of the world who are members of the United Nations. But can you imagine there are over 5,000 NGO representatives there as well? And most of them women, not all of them. And their job is what the Irish would call keeping their toes to the fire. We keep our eyes on what they are saying. We encourage them to make better judgments, better agreements. And we hope that they will come to an agreed statement about the very important issue of violence against women of all ages. So that is what they are talking about at the moment. We were asked to say a little bit about 2012, the European year. And in the United Kingdom, 2012 was really quite a year. And in London, we had the Olympics. Nationally, we had the Queen's 60th anniversary of being on the throne, big celebrations. And then, of course, we had the European year, which wasn't quite such a big celebration. But despite few resources for EU from the European Union, our government did put resources aside for a civil servant to work part-time on these issues, so that she could bring together a web page and find out about all the events that were going on across the country to celebrate the year. And we had 72, which was quite a large number. I think we came 5th in the table for the Europe of the 27. And all nations of the United Kingdom were active. And we have different, we are a country of 4 nations. So in Northern Ireland, there was a very successful intergenerational activities. And they had the launch of the Aging Well strategy in Wales. Wales has taken a tremendous initiative and taken the example for the rest of the United Kingdom in having a national ageing strategy and having an ageing well strategy with actions underneath which the national government and the local government in Wales will carry out. In Age UK, which is a national organisation, had an initiative called Fit as a Fiddle, which is an English experience, an English expression, again about active ageing and keeping well and keeping health, which, as the doctor was indicating earlier. And Scotland had a wonderful creative arts festival, and included Annie Key, a rock band of women 70 plus, who learned their instruments after retirement.
We have in Finland too.
Yeah, it is. It was the Finnish. It was the Finnish band who came to Scotland. It was the Finnish band who came to Scotland. So they were whole. So we had there were great activities across the country. But now and I just want to say a little bit also too about what's happening now. So in 2013, that's this year, older women are featuring in the political world with our Labour Party, the Socialist Party, the party of opposition, currently undertaking an older women's commission. And they will be looking at what we have picked out already today, issues of work, health, and involvement. These are all topics that have been raised earlier today. And I have certainly been invited to participate in this by giving written evidence and also to take part in a round table. In addition, Women's Hour, which is our famous radio programme, which is a daily radio programme Monday to Friday for 1 hour from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock in the morning, which is run by women for women. It includes also interviewing men as well and some men's issues as from a gender perspective. But it is certainly a very influential programme on the radio. And they asked their listeners to vote for the 100 most powerful women in the country today. And I'm pleased to say the first 4 are all over 50, which in this way is probably not surprising, given that it might take some time to have that power. And if the first is, I think I was surprised, but it is our Queen. That was the person who was voted. At 86, has seen many prime ministers come and go, has seen many other leaders of countries come and go. She is still there and able to give wise counsel. Our Home Secretary, who is 56, is seen as the most influential woman in our current Conservative Party. They are part of a coalition government. And she is seen as the power behind the throne. She's a bit of a Rottweiler. She can grab at the heels of others. Anna Botan, who is at 53, who heads up the Santander Bank in the United Kingdom. And Baroness Hale, who at 68 is the only woman to sit on our Supreme Council, on our law, in our Supreme Court. So these are all women of experience, and we certainly celebrate their achievements, even though we don't always agree with their politics. For example, our Home Secretary is on record as wanting to get rid of the UK's Human Rights Act. She is a very political animal to her fingertips, and she is no doubt concerned about the rise of the very right-wing parties in the UK, who beat them into third place in a recent election. So we find that issues of equal opportunity can become political footballs. Indeed, the government is reviewing our current equality legislation. As they banner it, as they promote it, that it is burdensome and costly for the public sector. But we as NGOs are working together to submit evidence to the review indicating that the requirements under the Act benefit society and add value to business. Because if you get it right for those women and for people of race and of sexual orientation, of all of the people who are protected under the Act, if you get that right first, businesses thrive. It is not, from our perspective, it is not a burden. Due to report in early July, we will see what evidence they have gathered and how they have listened to those that are most vulnerable and disadvantaged in society. I would like just to say that for On Europe, our role is to harness, and not just for On Europe, but for women across the world, our role is to harness our voices and campaign for positive change, for our ideas, for policies that will improve not only our lives, but also those of other people. So in celebrating today, I acknowledge those women who have gone before to create a just and fair world and continue to support those who are active now and in the future. Thank you very much.
Köszönöm szépen Elizabeth Sclater főtitkárasszony szavait, és egyben köszönöm valamennyi kedves hölgy, mind az ötőjük okos, rokonszenves és szórakoztató előadását. Egyetlen tisztem maradt, hogy jó étvágyat és nagyon hatékony fogyasztást kívánjak. Nem, még nem. Nem? Parancsolj.
Elnézést, csak 2-3 dolog tényleg nagyon röviden. Az egyik, hogy a Balkánról már többször volt szó, közben vajdasági kedves vendégeink is megérkeztek, úgyhogy szeretettel üdvözlöm őket. És még azt szeretném mondani, egy ilyen szolgálati közlemény, hogy akik a délutáni panelbeszélgetés résztvevői, találkozzanak Farkas Erikával, és beszéljék meg a részleteket, hogy legyen. És akkor most már tényleg, és a tolmácsoknak nagyon szépen köszönöm ezt a hősies munkát, amit elvállalt. És most egy rövid szünet lesz, én nagyon szépen kérem, itt lehet maradni, enni, innivalót, ilyen snackek vannak, ide lehet hozni, és 3-kor folytassuk, jó? Köszönöm szépen!